Welcome into the Command Center podcast. I'm Logan Paulson here with Fred Smoot and Santana Moss. And guys, it is draft week, and we have a very special content lineup for you this week. Let's start off, right?
Yep.
We got Get Loud, comes out on Tuesday on YouTube. That's your show, Fred.
Oh, yes,
you
me and Michael Jenkins, yes.
But you had a special guest, maybe Gold Jacket himself.
Yeah, Mr. Yellow Jacket himself, London Fletcher.
And what'd you guys do on the show?
We did a 10 pick of the first 10 picks of the draft mock, and we had a lot of action, a lot of trades, a lot of agreements, and a lot of disagreements.
I bet you did. And then we got the Ticket to the Draft podcast, which comes out on Wednesday, which is on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. There's no YouTube for that, but if you are a draft psycho,
yes,
that is your show.
Yes, most
we are going to do a 7-round Commanders mock draft. Fred's going to be there.
Yeah.
Just the guy. Jason's going to be there.
Yes.
Zach Selby's going to be there.
Selby.
And we did a really fun activity where we kind of tried to be the front office, so we had to come to a consensus on every pick.
Yeah.
Lots of disagreement, but if you are a draft nerd, that is your show. Check it out, right? Then we got Command Center special live from Detroit, right?
Yeah.
It's Wednesday night, 7 p.m., and it's live on Facebook and X and YouTube.
Elon's Musk app.
And so B. Mitch and Santana will be there.
Yeah.
And you did these in season, right? When you would go on road games. What's that experience like being at the fans, and what do you expect Detroit to be like?
Well, first of all, I'll be so sorry that you guys can't join us on the road like that.
We feel the pain.
I know Fred feels it a little bit, and I feel it for him. But no, it's a fun time. I mean, we have Jason there, BH be there with us, and B. Mitch. You know B. Mitch. You know how he gets down. But
he's fiery.
I can't believe you just called him BH, man.
Oh, that's BH's name.
It's
BH.
We know
permeating the airways.
we know his real name. But no, man, it's fun, man. It's a great experience being there with the fans. They're always live, and just like we're going to experience soon with this podcast, it's great being able to do it in front of those guys.
Yeah,
they give you a little more to
electricity.
Yeah,
and obviously, like, there's sometimes insider information you get when you're in Detroit. It's on the ground, so make sure you check that show out. Get every little bit of Commanders content right up until the draft, and then our Piece de Resistance, the show of shows this week, is Command Center Draft Night Live.
Yes,
Thursday and Friday night on YouTube, Facebook, X, and it's live when we're on the clock. So I know everyone wants to turn into ESPN. But this is Commanders centered focus. Only us, right?
We need our people,
and everybody, everybody on the Command Center network is going to be there, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to be there. Santana, Fred, London, B. Mitch, Brian Colbert, Jenks, Bram. Like literally every single person that is an on-air talent for this team will be there giving inside information. We've got a team in Detroit. We've got a team at the stadium. We've got a team in studio. We're all over the place, and we are talking only Commanders draft picks, our analysis immediately right after it happens.
Yeah, must-see TV.
So for me, that's the show I want to watch.
Yeah.
Right? If I was a fan of the Commanders, that's a show I'm tuning into.
Why not?
Jason, you got something?
Yeah. We will have Adam Peters and Dan Quinn right after the pick. We'll be live after the pick. They're going to walk over. They're going to talk to us.
Yeah.
We're going to be the first people they talk to.
Yeah.
Media-wise. And the same thing with whoever that pick is.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
They're going to call in if like a Zoom call.
Yeah.
They'll call in. They'll talk to us live. So if you tune into that show, you'll hear from our guys and our picks before anybody else. So take that, ESPN.
That was something we did last year too, and it's cool to be one of the first people in the organization to talk to them.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
Who was that? Big Phil a couple years ago. Like he had his Skype up here, and you couldn't even hear him because he was screaming so loud, even on the call after the thing. So it's really cool to kind of get a feel for those
awesome.
guys.
Logan, you're going to break down film live.
Yeah, live, doing it
it's
live.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be a great time.
Jason, let me ask you this too. Do we know which former Washington player will be calling out the second round pick? Do we got a clue?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, who is
we do? I ain't going to tell you.
Why you
and I ain't going to tell our fans. You got to tune in to watch. It's a good one, though. It's a good one.
I just want a firecracker. That's all I want. I want a firecracker to get up there.
It's a good one.
Fred's been petitioning since
you
I've known Fred.
You would have been our best firecracker. I'm pretty sure.
Well, listen, I'm up to grenade. When you want to drop a grenade, that's when you call me.
I know, but I feel like you've been petitioning for this for like.
I just have to work the same day all the time.
I mean,
as long as you don't get up there and really taunt the fans. I mean, it can be fun. Like, I had a great time 2 years ago in Vegas.
Yeah. How was it, Tanner?
It was great because I was me. I don't like big crowds.
Yeah, I've been saying so.
I was like, but when I got up there, man, I was ready for it. What I mean? I had anticipated what I was going to say. When I got there, I scrapped all that. I went out there and I just kind of fed into the fans. They was roaring, so I see you guys. You know what I mean? I basically showed them more love than them trying to show me.
You killed them with kindness.
Bingo.
See, what I would have did, I would have stepped on stage. F Dallas. I hate Philadelphia. New York stinks.
Yeah. It was a warm welcome to see. I mean, they gave me a warm welcome, so I enjoyed it.
You got to enjoy it.
Yeah,
you got to enjoy it.
That's awesome. So all those shows, Get Loud, Ticket to the Draft, Command Center Special live from Detroit, Command Center Draft Night live are all this week. And if you're a Commanders fan, you got to check them out.
You got to.
Now, let's get to the show.
Let's do it.
So it's the draft's coming up here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I think it's, 72 hours away, basically, right? Is that right? About right?
So anxious for these players, man.
Yeah.
Like life about to change in 72 hours.
Yeah, and so what we're going to do is we're going to play a game called Safe Space Draft Takes / Thoughts. These are draft takes and thoughts that aren't really like totally fleshed out. Like I got a couple that I've been holding close to the vest.
Yeah.
That I'm like a little nervous to share because fans are rough, but I can share them now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we're
Edgy.
right
Let
here.
it out.
Yeah. So I'll start off.
Yeah.
So my kind of half-baked thought is like I like JJ McCarthy a lot. And I would probably take him at 2 if I was the GM of this team. And I have not said that anywhere except for this podcast.
You drinking the Kool-Aid.
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid, man. I watched the film.
He drunk off the Kool-Aid.
And I like the film. I like the film, man. And like every time I've heard him speak, like I'm just blown away by his maturity, like the winning culture, like being a part of that Michigan program, seeing all the throws he made, his ability to create off schedule, his ability to run the quarterback power, quarterback counter, run the zone read. Like I'm just like, I just like him. And again, it's it's one of those things, man.
How about I said everybody was gonna fall in love with him doing the?
I fell in love.
The interview. Like, did you fall in love when he walked in the building and like, that's Doug Williams? I want to talk to Doug. Yeah. Do you think he prepared himself, or that's just JJ who he?
1,000% he prepared himself. But I like that. I'm a preparer.
Yeah,
I'm a preparer.
I mean, I'm not. I won't be surprised. Like I said before, I'm never really sold on anything. You know what I mean? Even when I was getting drafted. Told you, I talked to the Washington Post the entire week. I had more Washington outlets calling me way down in Miami, asking me, what it's like how do I feel about coming here? And I'm like, man, until they call my name, I don't have nothing to say.
Yeah.
And so when it happened and I didn't come here, I'm glad I didn't drink the Kool-Aid or fall for the banana in the tailpipe. So when it comes down to the draft, man, I'm just one of those guys. I ain't from Missouri, but you got to show me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to sit there like anybody else.
What did you say? I ain't from Missouri, but you got to show me.
You show me.
Yeah, show me
Missouri is the show me state.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
My God, man.
I'm
Who don't know that?
You like that?
The hawk outside and not from Missouri, but you got to show me. Learn something new every day on this show.
Hey, man, listen. The hawk is outside.
I know. It is a little hawkish. A little hawkish today.
It's going to be April.
I got off that flight and like, man, I'm glad I wore a sweatsuit today.
So what you got, Fred? I know you got some crazy thought.
You know what? Here go my thought. Because anytime I do my mock drafts, I've been trying to like finagle my way to get the offensive lineman I want and the quarterback. And it seems I cannot stay in the second round and get my guy. So I won't be shocked that we trade a second and a third to try to get just in the bottom of the first round.
Now, I will say this, depending on how the offensive line come off the board. Things might change drastically. You know what I mean? So now you might get more. So if we get one of those top guys high in that top, 5 or 10 picks?
Yeah.
Now other teams is going to be like, we got to go out and get our guy because he's not going to be able to, get him in the second round. So I have that in the back of my head too, saying that, hey, because I've been hearing you talk about it week in and week out about trading a player and a draft pick to get back in the first.
Something.
Now I'm not sure if it's going to be a player,
draft pick,
but I think with having 36 and 40, having those picks so close, you can afford to get rid of one of them. To get rid of one of them. So hey, I won't.
This is where the landslide starts at. The run on quarterbacks, the run on wideouts.
Yeah.
I think those two positions has the ability to push offensive linemen to you.
Yeah.
But I feel like when offensive linemen start to go, I don't think it's going to stop.
Everybody got
I think it's going to be one. Like they're going to start to really move off the board.
I know when you get to that 25, or 20 to 25 range, I think all those teams are pretty offensive lineman needy. And if one of those really talented guys falls, I think you're right there. The other thing I wanted to bring up on the show, and it's a half-baked idea, it's a safe space. Yeah. Right? We're comfortable. We're all friends here.
Be yourself.
Is that everyone I've spoke to that's not like an analyst or not like involved in the draft seems to have a really hard time understanding that the draft is entirely subjective.
Yeah.
Like they're like, this is the guy. And if you think it's this other guy, you're stupid. And it's like, oh, we should not do this. This guy sucks. It's like to me, I don't know what it is about that. I'm just like, you're not super invested. I don't know what it is, but like there's no There's no right answer.
You really don't know.
There's no right answer. It's like everyone has their pros and cons, and it's like about not only the player and where they're coming from, but also the situation they're going to, the coaches, the environment, like can they settle in and work here? So all that stuff, I think, that's something I want to bring up.
Well, here go the thing about the draft process. Either people are overeducated in it,
right?
Are they undereducated? Nobody's ever in the middle. Well, all right, man, the draft is fluent. This could happen. This could happen. You just don't know.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thing about it. Like, I love Amarius Mims. In the back of my head, Jerry Jones, I can see him just sitting over there. Can't wait to pick this dude.
Yeah.
Like, so, like, I got some, like, to me, I got, in my head, Cowboys taking Amarius Mims. I can see it. He's their Larry Allen type player. But I could also see something that I really don't want to see, and that's Cooper DeJean getting picked by the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm sorry. The one thing I always tell fans, we cannot draft everybody.
Yeah.
Like, this the promise. We cannot draft everybody. And if we could, ain't no guarantee they're going to be good no way.
I think one of the biggest things people fail to realize, and I don't understand how, because especially if you're a football fan or follower, you understand that regardless of how good that potential prospect was in college, it's all about placing. You know, placement.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't land on a team that's going to basically take advantage or develop him to be a pro at what he did best at, you can see a guy just be a bust.
Yeah.
And it's not about him. It's about where he landed. You know what I mean? So trust me, man, I listen to so many different takes about quarterbacks. Quarterbacks and receivers, skill position guys and quarterbacks, to me, those are the two, or I can say the three, because you can say skill position, you can say running backs, wide receivers,
tight end,
tight end. But quarterbacks, receivers, and running backs, like to me, those top three positions there, if they land at an odds team and they don't, show that sign early of who they were once in college, people forget about him and say, "Oh yeah, he's a bust," and then you end up finding out down the road, this guy had more potential, he just wasn't on the right team.
Right.
So. You can never really see it. That's why I say I get here and I listen to a lot of these guys' takes about who's going to be this and who's. You don't know, bro.
Yeah.
You can go off of what they showed you.
Yeah.
And if we want to talk about that, that goes to the. I haven't said what I want to say about things can be shifting or what may happen. And like you say, we in a safe space. Penix. I think he's a guy that a team would take a shot at and say, "Look here, man. I understand he had 2 injuries, but." I feel like I can bring him here and
it checked out healthy. His injuries checked out healthy.
We have a good enough team around him already. If we bring this guy in with his leadership, with the things we saw him do with the ball on the field, who knows, man? He could be a top 4 quarterback.
I think Penix is in that love-hate gray area. Like, you got a lot of people love him.
Yeah.
Then I read on another thing, some guy said, none of his left-hand balls has any touch. And I'm like, I seen a couple of those things with some touch on them.
Yeah.
Everything's so subjective. You don't, like we said, you don't know what a player's going to be until he actually in a uniform and playing with pros. Simply, man. Simple as that.
No, 100%. The other thing is we're talking about quarterbacks. Do you think quarterbacks are overvalued in the draft?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. But you can't have a winning franchise without one. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Yeah. Like, yes, they scream up the board because 8 billion people on the planet, we ain't found 32 of them.
Yeah.
All right, so it's one of those numbers, you against the odd. Like, I've heard scouts say, I draft a quarterback almost every 2 years.
Yeah.
Until I find my guy.
Yeah.
And then when I find my guy, I still need to draft backups. Like, so quarterback is the never-ending story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those positions that I never thought that we'd be where we're at today, where, honestly, when you really watch these games and you dissect them, like you win or lose because you don't have that position, field.
Yeah, it's crazy because they've changed the game. They being the NFL collective,
the rules, everything.
So much to kind of make that position extremely important. And it's funny because I'm a big JJ guy, but I think he's probably my 10th player on my board. Yeah. But I just said, I like him so much I'd take him at 2 because you're inflating the value there. You know what I'm saying?
What is it about him though? I mean, because when you hear some of the other takes, people wonder why. Like, okay, if he's such a high sought out valuable type of player, why didn't we see more from him in the championship game with his arm? Why they held back in certain games to make a run?
Ask him to do it. Like he can only do what he's told to do.
No, that's right. Yeah. That's true. We know that as players. But the question has been, and this is the question I have, there was games where they needed someone to throw the ball. Like they needed him to say, hey, we got to scrap this because it's not working.
Yeah.
they also won a championship. So whatever they did it well enough.
Yeah.
But in those games, you never see Harbaugh reach out and say, we're going to throw the ball. Yeah. He still force-fed that guy in the backfield. Those two running backs he had and found a way not to make that, I guess you can say that, ill-advised throw. You know what I mean? He didn't want to put him out there.
But I think JJ didn't. In the throws he had, he didn't make ill-advised throws. I thought he made the best out of the situation.
I think it's more of a testament to Harbaugh and like the way he sees football, honestly. Like I think, when you look at Andrew Luck, like he didn't throw the ball as much as other people. Like he didn't win the Heisman.
Yeah.
He was by far the best quarterback prospect we've ever seen, probably since Elway. And rightfully so. Like, he was just in a different category. Did not win the Heisman because he didn't throw the ball enough. Like, that was the criticism. He didn't throw the ball enough. And I think there's something to that. Like, just when you're building a team, like offensive philosophy, we're talking about that quarterbacks are getting overvalued. Right? Yeah. I do think that there is something to saying, like, how do we make sure that the infrastructure around him is so good that he doesn't have to be
that he cannot fail.
And I think like that's again a testament to Jim Harbaugh, because I think when you watch the TCU game from last year, you see him dealing.
Yeah.
You see him kind of put the team on his back a little bit, and they don't win that game, but the types of throws he's making, the competitive moxie, the athleticism, the arm talent, it's all there. It's just it's a little bit like you said, Tan, it's a projection because he doesn't have the throw volume that everyone else does.
So with that being said, you have a guy right now with the potential that everybody say that he's either the best quarterback or he's the second best in Jaden Daniels that threw the ball a lot and was very precise and had not that many interceptions.
Yeah.
So do you give him a asterisk because he did? Because to me, he didn't have, how many picks he had last year? Like what?
He had like
four picks. You see what I'm saying?
Something like that.
So for that, he won the Heisman, ran the ball well, threw the ball well, but he had two great receivers, and it seemed like to me that's all I hear. Well, he had great guys on the outside.
I can't knock you for that.
Do you give him an asterisk for that?
No.
Because he still passed the test by making sure he got those guys the ball.
I think the thing about him that when you watch it, like there's a playmaking ability there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't show up in the same way it does for Drake May or JJ, but like his ability to just be like, hey, like we're gonna win this game. Like I'm gonna break off a big run, but make a big time throw. Like just seem to have it.
Yeah.
And I like that's something like I talk about how much I like JJ, but I like Jaden and I like Drake too. But like that ability from Jaden, that composure in those moments, those gotta have it situations, it just showed him maturity, man. And I don't care who you're throwing the ball to, but that counts for something for me. That it doesn't show up on a stat sheet. It really doesn't. Like it's just like you're a baller.
No, I think at the end of the day, when it comes to Jaden Daniels, I don't think they knock him for having those great wide receivers or throwing on the outside. I think they knock him from not utilizing the tight end as much. Maybe he wasn't asked to.
Yeah.
So the only hole that people say that's in his game, I haven't seen him consistently throw across the middle in the NFL. It get kind of fogged up in that middle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How is he going to be able to see through that traffic? I think he would be all right in that one. I don't think that'll hurt him. I think you can only do what you're asked to do.
All right. Yeah, so I mean, obviously, lots of takes there about the quarterback.
Yeah,
about
always quarterback. Everything starts with the quarterback.
It's true. All right, so now we're gonna play a new game.
Yeah,
tell me something good.
Tell me something good.
So good. So good. We're gonna start with our guy Adam Peters. Our guys, Adam Peters and Dan Quinn. Tell me something good. About this draft process, offseason process that should get fans excited about these two guys.
Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, they the outcast group of the NFL right now, the best duo ever to do it. I like people to be on the same page. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care how you do it. But if y'all on lockstep on the same page, y'all are going to accomplish what y'all set out to accomplish. And these dudes, energy-wise, intellect-wise, every part of it, they are lockstep together. Dre 3 Stacks and Big Boy, the outcast of the NFL. Adam Peters, Dan Quinn. Can't wait till their equipment drop.
I like how you put that together. I'm a big fan of Outkast. That's my favorite rap group. But honestly, he said it. I mean, it's crazy to see that you have two guys that they're familiar with each other.
Yeah.
Haven't probably worked together in a while. But the one thing that was said in that presser is that they want to be on the same page.
Always.
And to see where we at right now going into the draft, I can't see them not being like unison. I mean, they almost like a Gemini.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're together. They're locked together some kind of way. They're stitched together, and it just seemed like every move that they've made it's just, you can tell there's just these guys working together as like little mad scientists, man. That say, hey, we going to. I mean, right now, if you had to ask me going into the draft, the free agent process, I feel like we're in the lead when it comes to all the teams. In this division, in the league, that when it comes to us bettering our team, these guys was on point. And that's why I say I can't wait to see what they bring, you know, after the draft. Because once you get these guys from the draft, you don't know. You still have to go out there and develop these guys. You still have to go out there and put the work in practice. But I just want to see what they have next in store, because it seemed like to me, they came in, they say, look, we want to be on the same page, and they showed us that
everything they did in free agency allowed them to draft how they're going to draft this week. Like, they don't have to draft for need besides the quarterback position. And, other than that,
and the tackle position.
They fill the gaps. And that's what great teams do. They go into the draft not hungry for positions. They go in and say, you know what? We're going to take this one and this one and this one because they are the best player available.
Yeah, for me, the thing that gets me feeling good and excited about the whole process is how many people want to know who Washington's picking it to? How many people?
Everybody wants to know.
Everybody knows. Insiders want to know. Coaches from other teams have called me. Like every facet of the NFL knows. No one knows.
No one knows.
And you know what's so crazy?
It's a business.
I'm glad you brought that up, because last week I wanted to record my TV screen and send y'all the video of how like ESPN was just going. They just
press
get up. They talk about like, I don't understand why you bring this many quarterbacks in at one time. They don't know right now. And I'm saying to myself, now, do you really think they don't know? But they doing this because they want y'all to be just what y'all doing right now. I mean, you out here, you just don't understand. And you got one analyst saying, hey, they know, they're just doing this because they want to play that psychology game. Then they have another one saying, hey, they want to go through all the steps. You know what I mean? But it was fun watching, but at the same time, I'm saying to myself, this got to be just for TV, because you guys know the process. You know, I think it was genius by the team doing that, because regardless of what we know, it's our decision. We should be able to do what we want to do when we do it.
Well, they so used to us, this team being ran like a bad business, that I think it's shocking people that we just run like a normal business in the NFL right now.
And a good business.
Yeah, the normalcy of it, I think it's catching people off guard.
Yeah, and so that's something that I've been super impressed with. Like, I think there's probably guys in the building that are pro Jaden, pro Drake, pro JJ. But you don't hear anything.
Nothing.
You don't hear anything. There's a little bit of rumor from outside the NFL that they think Jaden, but no one from in here has confirmed that. And I think that is pretty spectacular. Coming from an organization that used to be like one of the leakiest in the NFL.
The loudest. And now all our stuff get lost like a fart in a hurricane. Like, nobody knows it.
But then Josh Harris said he wants to shore up the leaks. And to me, like, you talk about what they did in free agency. You talked about them being a lockstep. Like, everything they've said they were going to do, they've done.
I think the only thing that came out that made me scratch my head when they said Magic Johnson wanted Belichick. I'm sitting there like, who's trying to break a story?
They trying to break a story. but Magic was in a Beasley at the time.
But to me, though, if Magic wants him, that's fine. But who does Josh want? Who does you know what I'm saying? And that's the other thing. It's like, the thing that I've learned about Josh Harris, just tangentially through the process, he's gonna kick the tires on
every option,
which is what I want to do from an owner. And you got to make a decision. How do I make a good decision if I don't talk to everybody about it, right? And so again, like to your point, everything they've done so far has just been a lockstep, which is great. Let's talk a little bit about why fans should be excited about our draft capital, right? Got a lot of picks, 2, 36. 40, right? Lots of opportunities here. And then what are our picks in the second and the third round, Jason? You got them there somewhere?
We got 2 picks in the third.
2 picks in the third, 2 in the second.
Yeah, we got a lot of picks in the top 100.
Right? 2 in the fifth too, I believe.
We got a compensatory pick in the fifth for some.
Yeah.
We got it for the trade. We have any in the fourth. Though.
But no, in the fourth. But I'm saying we got 5 picks. In the top 100. And so to me,
5 or 6.
I see there's an opportunity there for 5 starting caliber players.
I was just finna say that. You going for starter hunting. You starter hunting.
And talent hunting, really.
Like, you going out there, and luckily, it's a deep draft. And we know the second, third, fourth round, fifth, these make the team.
Well, it's interesting because let me just push back on that a little bit. I don't know if it's a deep draft, but the top 100 players are good players.
Great players.
You know what I'm saying? So I think we have picks where you want to have picks.
Yeah.
In my opinion, right?
Early and often.
Right.
Yeah. Early and often. And like I said, not the deepest draft, but for the positions we're hunting for.
Yeah.
Particular.
Yeah.
It's a deep draft. It's a deep tackle draft. It's a deep quarterback draft. You got some edge rushers that you can get in this draft.
Cornerbacks.
It's players everywhere. I think it's your flavor, your pick.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that on the Ticket to the Draft podcast in more detail. We'll give you some names, give you some people we like there. But I totally agree with that, man. I just look at that and I say to myself, like, holy cow. Like, when you're trying to rebuild a team, you handle free agency the way they handled it. You've got the draft capital you need to handle it.
Yep.
I think the other thing that gets me excited is you talked about this too, Fred. Like, let's say, for example, Amarius Mims or Tyler Guyton or name your offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Takes a little bit of a skid, and they're there at 26.
Yeah.
We can trade up and go get that guy. And so, and that only comes from having good draft capital good positions, right?
Yep.
So, all right, let's talk about. We're going to skip quarterbacks, as you already did that already. Let's talk about a new era of football in DC.
Tell me something. Everything's good. Right? I feel good when I walk in the building. The sun's shining. The birds chirping. Right? Even the players, you can see the energy. I just talked to St. Juice down in the cafeteria. He like, man, I ain't been this excited to play no football in a long time. Yeah. Like the think about this. New ownership, new head coach, new quarterback, future new stadium, just new.
Yeah.
Like everything's fresh. You know how you go buy that new car and that first week of driving it with that new car smell?
New car smell.
You can't manufacture that. The car either new or is not. And everything is new. So now we have a new view of looking at the NFL. We have in my head, I can see the stadium sold out, packed every game this year.
Yeah.
I already feel the energy from the fans when I walk to the grocery store. Smooth, who we gonna draft? I don't know. Like at the end of the day, I can feel the energy.
Yeah.
Everything's new. And if you're not excited by this, you need to check your pulse because you might be dead.
I'm excited, man. I mean, I'm not gonna go as far as Smooth went with it. No, I'm honestly because I feel like
that's why this show's so great.
We've all been in the shoes where we get overly excited and say we started talking about how many games going to be won. But I do feel everything he feels, and it almost reminds me of being in 05 when I got here.
Yeah,
it was new to me.
Yeah.
I just got traded here, and I didn't know nothing. I didn't try to know anything but the playbook, and I was learning players and plays and different places to go at the same time by the day. And before you know it, we had done won almost 12 games that year.
Oh, wow.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like the season happened just that fast. And I feel like it's going on right now. You see so much new around you.
Yeah.
It's great because we got a chance to, I guess you can say, welcome the ownership in last year.
Yeah.
But this is their first year really now.
Putting the stamp on.
Now being in that war room, being able to sit back there and say, this is what we want to do. And now you have this coaching staff that, what's crazy about this staff is you can just go to every individual coach and where they come from, and their pedigree. I guess you say their track record, you know what I mean, of what they've done either as a player or a coach, and it's exciting. It's just from position coach to assistant coach. All these guys have a name, and that they're going to bring it here because they understand what this organization has been through, and they understand where we were once before. So that's what excites me. But the only thing I would say, the reason why I'm going to sit here and pump my brakes on it, I'm going to let them show me.
Yeah.
I'm going to let them go out there and do what they're paid to do. Be coaches and be developers and go out there and make this team the team that they can be. And that's why I'm not even tripping on because I have no expectation.
Yeah.
I'm just excited about the feeling that we have coming into this building, but I really don't have no expectation of what they're going to be and what should I expect from, week 1 all the way into, week 17.
What about you, Logan?
Yeah, I think for me, I just think about Josh Harris comes in, he's got the new ownership experience, right? And you're already seeing the effects of that, right? Like they're renovating the building, they're changing how they do stuff in the cafeteria, the weight room, like everything's changing for the positive.
Yeah.
And you look at Dan and the culture that he's bringing in. I know people are tired of that word, but like the energy, let's say the energy he's bringing into the room, right? Adam Peters, just the level of professionalism that he brought. Like I was expecting, I'm somewhat familiar with him. I played for him when I was in San Fran. I knew he was going to be good at this, but I didn't know he was going to be like this.
Yeah.
And so to see those 3 guys, right, that are kind of, to me, doing exactly what you're supposed to do, and in some cases exceeding expectations, extremely special. And then for the opportunity for that group of guys that have done such a great job so far to select a quarterback coming up here in the draft.
Yeah.
And that for them to understand the importance of the position, like, I don't know, man. It just seems like a great opportunity, kind of to your point, saying not only is everything new, but they're doing such a great job of at every marker. And so I look at this, like this opportunity in the draft, like, and it's scary to me because they can draft a quarterback, they can draft a left tackle, they can draft a quarterback of the future. And if you hit on those picks, I know that's a big if. But like you said, Fred, this draft is an opportunity to afford them that. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I want to cut you off.
Hey, but he did.
Look at that. What's going on? I had to say this. Look. What would it be like though if come that second pick on Thursday night and they trade out?
Yeah.
How would it? I mean, just all this talk. We just sure about this quarterback, and then we sitting there like. And then it stuns everybody.
But I still be like,
I won't be mad.
What we gonna do?
I won't be mad. I also see what's gonna happen.
I think even if they trade out, though, I think they probably like another guy. And I'm gonna trust that. Trust that process. And it doesn't sound like that based on the press conference last week, but anything could happen. Or they trade back up into the first round.
It's just one of those things because we are loaded in those positions, in that position particularly, quarterbacks, and you just know like, hey, if we do say we want something else. And we can get them down the road. Hey, go after it.
Why not do it? And this is another love I got to show for Adam Peters. He's new at this job. Usually, you don't put people in the forefront when you the new person. That press conference they had last week when he let the assistant GM answer questions, you don't see that. You don't see they are trying to empower everybody in this building. And I think that's the difference. People are not afraid to empower.
He been there before though. He been the assistant GM, so he understands that he carries a lot. Because honestly, if he didn't do what he did so well in San Fran, he wouldn't got the job here. So he understands that guy has a huge responsibility too. And it's crazy because that's nuts. That's something going back to what Dan Quinn said. We're going to develop even the coaches around us and even these other staff members around us. So if one have to go, this guy can pick up, where he left off.
I love it. And like to Tanner's point, that doesn't always lead to success, but I just see the process, and the process is laid out so well. It just gets you excited. So that's why I'm excited about the new era of football in DC. All right, I got two questions for you. One, I'd like you guys to share a draft night experience / story. And then the other thing I thought about from when we were talking earlier is we talked about missing on an evaluation. When have you ever missed on an evaluation or seen a guy that was really good go to a bad spot and you're like, man, if he had gone someplace else, that would have been better. So two questions. That one's for me. That's off script. But I wanted to bring that up because I think like I've played with guys. Like I think about, just as an example, Vernon Davis, right? He's in San Fran. He's balling. He's balling. Then he goes to Denver with Peyton Manning, where there's a little bit more kind of, what do you know? How do I communicate? And he doesn't look as good. And I remember thinking, man, Vernon's got to retire. Remember the first day he came to practice, I saw him run, I saw him lift, I saw him catch. I was like, I'm gonna need a new job. But like that was an example of like just the situation for a guy who's an excellent football player not working out. And I think that is such a good reminder to the fans. Like that it's not just, hey, we draft a guy.
You're supposed to be good.
We got to know what he does well. We got to develop him, and I just think that's a good example. And if you had an example like that, I want you to share. In addition to draft night stories,
do y'all remember Chris Clemens, defensive end, known for Seattle? We drafted Chris here.
Did you really?
Oh yeah.
Chris was here. We had Chris.
He played with me 1 year. He played with me 1 year.
No kidding.
We had Chris Clemens here, and I remember
he went out there and balled.
I remember Chris Samuels telling me while we were sitting in the locker room at the prayer, he's like, man, I like who? I said, anybody giving you problems this camp? He was like, this Chris Clemens kid. Like Chris was like this. Right,
that deep ass voice.
He ain't beating me, but he working me a little bit. So I was like, I started to watch Chris. Then Coach Williams, Greg Williams, used to bring him in on the pass rushing packages, and he used to get off the ball. Went with Pete Carroll over there to Seattle. Blossom, got paid, and turned into a Pro Bowler.
He was just raw though.
He was just raw.
He was just raw. Like how you see a guy talented, but you can tell he just don't understand what he's doing and what he has. And that's because of who you had coaching him or teaching him. And no offense to those guys who was here doing so, but you can tell because he was with Greg Williams, so he had to have somebody telling him something. But I remember Greg always bringing him up in certain meetings, so you can tell that it wasn't something getting through. He probably was young, still living
playing
that
at 100 miles per hour.
But what was crazy to me is that he had a brother that he was playing with. And I'm saying to myself, normally that kind of slow you down. If you're the youngest, you understand quick by learning from my brother because he was very talented. So I didn't understand it when I saw him leave. I'm like, You mean to tell me you gonna go over there and play like?
He saw it.
I saw it.
He saw it. But I got another teammate off that same team we was on. Brandon Lloyd.
Oh yeah.
All right, B. Lloyd.
I blame that on us though.
Hey,
I blame
why do you blame it on us?
I blame him on us. We didn't throw the ball to him. I was here
ever.
But we didn't throw the ball to him.
It's such a good example, right? Because everyone talks about these receivers, these playmakers in the draft. Like, gosh, you got to have a guy that knows, like, they know how to use them. You know what I'm saying?
I just went, I'm going to go ahead and talk about it because this is the experience that I talk about all the time with guys. I just had 1,400 yards the year before. B. Lloyd and Randall come the next year.
Yeah.
And I see B. Lloyd from day one, like, I'm finna get off. We gonna get off together. We get Al Saunders from Kansas City. And he's now the OC, but the only thing we didn't have is the quarterback that can run that offense. And they got Al Saunders came in and told me, and that's why I hate people to kind of, blow smoke. He said, Tanner, if you did 1,400 with that offense last year, that made up stuff in the dirt y'all did, you gonna go for 2,000 this year. And I'm like, oh Lord, he just jinxed me. And that's just me. I'm superstitious. Because I know you can't throw that number out there and it's not gonna hit. It's not gonna pan out that way. And we had, Campbell. We had Jason Campbell.
But you also had Cooley at tight end.
But I'm just saying, just the development of him wasn't quite ready for that offense. And with a guy as good as B. Lloyd and trying to feed me, someone's gonna miss out. And he was the guy missing out, and he didn't know how to accept that being a top paid guy on the team, knowing that he came over here to be that guy. Didn't have a season over 1,000 yards yet, but he just knew being here with Tanner and seeing what Tanner did. If they double him, I'm getting the ball, and it didn't pan out that way. So he kind of tricked himself out of that position by just acting out, and then no longer here, and then he goes out and blossom elsewhere. But
he go to San Francisco.
I feel like we should have did more with that talent, man. We had so much talent.
As a cornerback, B. Lloyd had one of those strides that he could tell you, I'm running the 9.
I'm running past you,
and he still can get past you
and come out of it if he want to.
And listen to me, explosive to a point, smooth, and he a ball tracker. Like the one thing he can, just throw it up there.
Throw it up there.
B. Lloyd will go get that ball. I have seen a lot of players come in here, and I'm like, man, this dude can play. We need to throw this dude the ball, and it just don't happen.
This don't work out, Like there's a ton of guys like that I've played with. You're like, oh, this guy's a 4th round pick, and he never quite fits the system, and then just gets lost in the sauce a little bit. So I do think, like, just a good reminder, man. We've all played with guys like that, guys that were crazy, like crazy talented. That just it wasn't the right spot, and so I think that's the other thing that I've been appreciative of watching Dan and Adam. Like when you look at the lists of guys that got coming in the building and stuff, you're like, these guys are. Dan, they are of the same cloth. And I think there's value that they've all identified the same pieces. So I don't know, man. I'm excited. Draft's coming up. So make sure you check out all those shows, right? We got Get Loud with this guy over here.
Get Loud.
If you need more Fred, we got Ticket to the Draft podcast with me, Fred, Jason, Zach Selby. We got Command Center special live from Detroit with Tana, which is going to be so much fun. Not a cooler show in our docket, I don't think. And then this one is the big one. Command Center Draft Night Live. And I think that is, again, that's the crown jewel.
That's it.
We are talking exclusive Commanders content. We get Adam, we get Dan, we get the draft pick. That seems like a great opportunity if you're a Commanders fan to get on that. And man, I'm just incredibly excited.
I'm stoked. The new era has started.
The next time we do this show, guys,
we have a quarterback.
We have a quarterback, and we're gonna have our team's gonna be kind of set for this upcoming season, which is gonna be pretty special.
It's gonna be exciting.
Can't wait.
So looking forward to it.